Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to the mechanic series. In today's video, we are covering the Sidewall Musty. If you guys wouldn't mind dropping a quick like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. But without wasting more guys' time, let's get right into how to do a Sidewall Musty. Alright, I have spawned myself here in free play, so I just want to show you guys real quick, as we're getting the mechanic here. So the Musty mechanic, at least if we're talking about the Sidewall anyways, I'm gonna deem it as a more advanced mechanic. But that's just simply because we're already building off of our basics, and that's just off the normal Musty, as I'm showing here. There we go, normal Musty. So, assuming you can do a ground Musty, like I'm showing right here, right? So if you're comfortable doing that, then you for sure can do a Sidewall Musty. No questions asked. You can definitely do it. There you go. Save money. Anyways, the point I'm trying to get at here is that if you have your, your fundamentals down, and you know how to Musty, and I'll get into how to Musty here, right? For those really good, like those really good Sidewall Musties that really, go somewhere. Because I know a lot of people who, when they're going for these Sidewall Musties, they want to come off to the side here and they want to really launch that ball, like they want to come out here, bang, and then absolutely launch it, right? But in order to do that, I need to give you guys a recap on how to do a good Musty and like what makes a Musty good, or how to perform it. So in terms of the Musty, right? You would think it's like kind of a fast mechanic, and it can be. Like, you can move through fast through the Musty, if you need to. But in most cases, your placement of the Musty mechanic itself is the more important. Like, you need to be really on top of the ball. Alright, hopefully you guys are able to see that pretty well. But, if you place your Musty very well, and you're, like, very close to where the, as long as your car is really close, like your body is close to the ball, as you're moving through it, then you're going to get a lot of flick. And that's how you're gonna get, those Musties on the sidewall way across the field, like this. You pop it up, give it a little go, and then, if you really want it to fly across the field like that, you're gonna need to get some good scoop. A lot of people's Musties, when they go for them, they go for the Musty, but usually they'll get it like that, and that's not really wrong. Like, there's nothing really wrong with getting your Musty, in this fashion, like that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that you can usually, because I know a lot of people look in this tutorial, they really want to get those flingers, right? You can't fling the ball when your Musty gets two separate touches. So this is one touch, and then this is two touches, right? So again, not bad, not wrong, but if you want like a clean flick that moves through the car, you have to be very close. You need to be on the ball, and then let the car lean into it. And that's the thing, right, is we want to make it so that when you're doing the Musty, you don't want to cancel it. Like, you want to make it so that you can just let the button go. Anyways, I had to just get out of the way, get our basics down, just to make sure that, again, just letting you guys know that I understand that, we can do a Sidewall Musty. I'm just trying to show you guys how not only can you get a Sidewall Musty, but you can get a great Sidewall Musty. And I know that's what a lot of you are looking for, is not just a good one. You don't want just a good Sidewall Musty, you want a great one. I'm trying to show you guys how to do a good one. Moving on to the setup here. So depending on what wall you guys use, right, that's gonna change up how you air roll into the Sidewall Musty, right? So if I use the left wall here, then depending on what air roll you use, it's gonna be a little different about how I approach going to the ball. I use air roll left, and then I use air roll right. I kind of use them interchangeably. And a lot of times, in this case, if I'm going to the left wall, and I'm going up the wall here, I'm going to hold air roll left just enough to where I'm going to be facing the ball, like that. So I'm just going to showcase it one more time. I'm going to push the ball up, give a little pop, and then jump, and then turn towards the ball. Just like that, perfect. And then, of course, with the right wall, we're going to repeat the same thing. Again, it's the same thing for both walls, just in reverse, bang, and then I'm going to air roll right, and then I'm facing the ball now. There we go. So once again, it does not matter how you air roll out in the wall, just as long as you are facing the ball just like that, you're good to go. If you guys need my binds for anything, you guys can always look down in the description. I always put my controller binds in the description, so if you need that, go ahead and check that out. Now, when it comes to the Sidewall Musty, guys, in my opinion, I say there's two different types of Sidewall Musties. I say there's one where you're a little bit closer to the net, and you're going straight up, bang, turn, and then Musty. There you go, there's one. That's a Sidewall Musty, and then the long ways one where you come off the side and then Musty off of the sidewall like that. So just as an introduction to the mechanic, we're gonna start with the normal, like basically front facing, perfect sidewall setup like this. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna learn to turn towards the ball, okay? And if you guys want to skip this, that's totally fine. You can skip this part. You can skip to the long ways musty that I was showing earlier. But just for those who are really just trying to first learn the mechanic, this is what I recommend you start doing first. Is you just push the ball in a straight line, turn towards the ball, and then time a musty. Because again, you know, for those who are just getting in this mechanic, you're gonna have to learn a couple things that maybe somebody who's more experienced wouldn't have to. But here, again, let me show you. It's gonna go up. And then we're just going to learn to jump towards the ball and then turn towards it, as well as get the musty. Let me show you guys an example. Alright, hopefully you guys could see that. So basically, you know, just breaking it up into steps, right? You're going to start with your roll. And then once you pop it up, you know, try and pop it on the banner there. Or you see where that orange line starts? So if you guys look here, you see this orange line? Right about there. That's good. That's about where you want to pop it up. So again, let's give it another go. Okay, roll, back off, pop, jump, turn, and then lean back. So that's what we're gonna do. Is we're gonna jump, turn, and lean back. So let's do it again. So we're gonna roll like this, pop it once, jump, air roll, and then start leaning back. And I would just say for this example, slower is better. You don't want to pop the ball like super high like this, like that. You don't really want that. You'd rather make it so that you're more, you got a softer touch, because look, you get really soft touch, like a really soft pop like that. See, the ball's not closer, and then you have more time to adjust and get the musty. So once again, if you are just starting to learn this mechanic, this is my #1 recommended way to get good at it, is just get a soft pop, turn, and then lean to the musty. And I'm telling you guys, if you guys do this over and over and over again, you're gonna get comfortable with the setup and the timing, and that's gonna really help you get your musties down. All right, and once you practice that a little bit, you know, I mean, you can already start getting some pretty good musties. So we're gonna come a little angle here, get a little cheeky pop, turn, musty, and then if you want, if you're good, try and turn that into a double tap. I have to miss, but whatever. And you know what, guys? Even in my humble opinion, even just like a normal, you know, straight pop, boom, turn, musty, into a double tap, like I already think that's pretty clean, and we're not even doing that much yet. See? So, I mean, already pretty nice. Once you learn how to do that, now we're gonna move on to the big boy musty, because again, if you guys have practiced your, you know, whatever that is enough times, you should get used to it, and it'll feel pretty easy. So then you should feel pretty comfortable moving on to your sidewalls now. So the setup for the Sidewall Musty, like I said, is pretty much the exact same. So depending on what wall you're doing, left or right, it's the exact same. It's just mirrored. So we're going to go ahead. I'm more comfortable with the left wall. I'm going to show you guys how I like to do it. So we're going to aim. So we're going to have the ball here. I like to aim the ball when I'm rolling it towards this boost. So if we're using the rough guesstimate, it's a little bit off to the left of the boost. And then using this map in particular, you know, right around this curve right here, where this line starts up here. Let me show you guys what I mean. So right now, I'm lined up with where I said I was talking about, right? I spawn the ball, I go forward in a straight line, like this, and then put it out one, and then we're gonna learn to turn out with the ball like that. Now, it's kind of weird that I say that, right? But there's kind of a sweet spot for sidewall musties. You think, oh, just put it anywhere on the sidewall, but not really. Like, I would just find that right around, like I said, right around here is good. And the reason for that is because we look at the sidewall here. So if you roll it on this curve, like the bigger curve on the left there, you try and roll it up, it's not going to roll clean. You're going to have to get a couple touches before you can get it to the correct wall. So if I show you guys an example of me rolling it towards that wall like this, see that? That's an issue. So, I mean, can you sidewall musty that? Sure. But like it doesn't really work, so just letting you guys know, like, hey, if you put it too off to the left like this, you know that it's not, like, you can't do much with that. And then again, if you do the same thing, but if you go more to the right and you miss that curve and you go for the straight up here, again, not bad. You can make this work, but you can still get a sidewall musty like that, perfect, right? It's just a little bit more difficult. Like, it is, in my defense, I prefer when the ball just kind of already is rolling up out with the wall like that. That is what I want. That usually for me is a lot better. So once again, it's not to say that you couldn't go on the flat side of the wall here and then do one. You definitely can. You just have to make sure that if you're gonna go more towards that direction, that you're more an angle, because when you're more angled like this coming into it, right, the the graduation up the wall is a little bit softer, making it a little bit easier to control. So pretty much what I'm trying to say is that if you're trying to get across the field to do a Sidewall Musty, you don't want to do this. You don't want to just go perfectly straight up and then try and musty it out like that. Like, it doesn't really work. So just to recap for you guys, the sweet spot is right in between the two. So this big curve is a no-no, and this straight right here, right about here, is also a no-no. So you want to just get right in between, right about here. So this part of the wall right here, this is perfect because not only does it go up, but also goes up and out. So up and then out, right? Because it literally naturally, that's the natural shape that it creates as you go up the wall. It's like this, boom. So I mean, look, if you guys look at this, right, and you see I'm basically staring down that corner boost right there, and that's basically where the sweet spot is. So as long as you're pushing directly towards the boost like that, then that's good. And as you guys can clearly see, it makes for a very nice transition. See? Boom. Beautiful transition into the Musty. Alright, we're gonna move on to step 2. So step 2 is basically what I like to do is to get one big pop. So give it a nice roll. Oh, by the way, that's another thing too, guys. You want to stay nice and close to the ball. So make sure that you are like basically hugging it like this and you're stuck on it. Because again, if you are spaced out a bit more, you're getting more spaced out touches like this. So space, and then space, and then space like that. Again, not terrible, not a bad thing. It's just, you know, these setups get a lot easier if you are just stuck in the ball. So once again, stuck, stuck, stuck. Sticky, sticky, good. Little brake check. I mean, again, that's another thing too. Sorry if I'm glossing over this, but do a little brake check, like right before you hit the wall. Because if you don't, you're going to end up launching it. See? So again, show one more time. If you are just full boosting through the ball, like this, and you just full boost, full boost, full boost, like you're just going to end up hitting the ceiling and it's a no-go. So let's go back. 1, roll, keep it close, pop, and then brake, okay? So you're going to roll like this, pop, brake, and then assess, right? Where you are, and then we're going to go for the jump. So pretty much once the ball is popped up, this is where the hard part comes in. And really, this is the part that requires the most practice, and that's just learning not only like how hard can you hit it, or how hard should you hit it coming in the wall, like that, but also micro-adjusting from the Musty. So as I was showing you guys with the ground Musty before, it's a little bit easier to, you know, micromanage or just manage in general your boost and your positioning, because I guess there's not as much going on. But once you hit that wall, you're gonna have to, you know, incorporate a bit of an aerial mechanic, right? You're gonna have to fly towards the ball, and then also lean back into it so that you're on top of the ball, like in the examples I showed before. Because again, I showed you guys, if you don't, you know, if you're not on top of the ball when you Musty, you're just gonna get that, which again, not bad. It is not bad. It's just not what we're looking for, all right? For at least some of these people that are coming to this tutorial. But anyway, so here, yeah, and then this from here, the jump out to the ball like that. That is the most important bit. That's gonna, you know, determine how sick your Musty is, all right? But otherwise, yeah, you're gonna have to work this in, because again, you're gonna pop the ball away from you, but then you have to catch back up to it like this, and then lean back into it. And then from this point on, this is where you're gonna have to put in your 1,000 attempts, all right? Because getting this right every time is not easy. You know, getting the ball exactly where you want it, making sure that you still have a flip, like, because a lot of people will jump, but then they won't have a flip coming into it. Like, you know, this is where your trial and error starts, okay? So you'll get the hang of it, but as long as your technique's pretty good and you have a good sense of speed, you can get this. I'm going to give you guys some examples here in a second, but again, just one more time to go through it. Roll, get the sweet spot, brake check, jump, turn out, and then lean back with the Musty. All right, one more last thing before I get into the examples. So the more horizontal that you push the ball, so the more, basically the more the ball is going towards the goal like that, then the more potential you have to have a fast Musty. But the more, I guess, vertical you could say it is, so if it goes more up than out, like that, then it's going to be a lot harder to get the ball down to the backboard. And again, that's why I was saying when you go to that sweet spot right here, like it just basically plays towards the net anyways, like, because that's the direction it's already naturally going in, and that's how you can get a good Musty. Alright, that wasn't a perfect example, but now I'm going to give you guys one more example, and we're just going to slow it down to 50% speed this time. Alright, that was the left wall. Now let's do the right wall. I just want to show you guys one more thing. So sometimes when I go for the Musty, sometimes I need to get like a touch off the wall before I go for the Musty, or I get the touch leaning into the Musty. So yeah, just basically right there. So hopefully you guys can kind of see what I mean. So the ball didn't quite get off the wall, so I had to get like a little jump touch on the way out to get it out in front of me and then lean back into it. And of course, you guys, with like every mechanic that you do in this game, you know, you can usually, once you have a lot of practice, right, you can micro adjust. You can, you know, exaggerate or de-exaggerate certain movements. So, you know, sometimes, this doesn't always happen, but sometimes when I'm, you know, coming out for a Musty, sometimes I'll wait a really long time to jump off the wall. You know, it depends. It really just depends on what your goal is and where the ball is relative to you. So if the ball is like very far away from you, you know, then you might need to use more boost. So if it goes really far away from me, I need to use more boost. Or if it's not that far, then I don't need to use as much, right? Like, it really just depends. The ball's really close, don't gotta use a lot, I can still get it. You know, but there's gonna be a lot of times, you know, as you get better at the mechanic, right, where you're just gonna, you know, you're just gonna find a way to do the same thing. You know, you're gonna accomplish the same goal, but you're just gonna do it a slightly different way depending on each scenario. And that's how you become a really good player, right? Is that you know, you learn to adapt, right? Same with your mechanics. You know, your mechanics, you know, the way you know you can really do something, you know, comfortably is if you can adapt to, you know, when the ball isn't perfectly set up every time. So obviously, you know, I'm giving you guys this setup, which, you know, in my humble opinion, works most of the time. You know, but again, if you guys want to know if you're great and that you can really get this down, then that means that you can do it anywhere, anytime. That's about it for you guys. I really hope that it helped you out with the mechanic today, and that you guys start hitting your dream shots, your Sidewall Musty double taps. And speaking of Sidewall Musty double taps, let me give you a good one. Dang, nice, bro. Like, you guys see that? Like, come on, man. That shit's hype, bro. That's cool. Right, and you guys feel me? Like, and then the whole world opens up to you. Then you can start doing, you know, ceiling musties and stuff. Like, it's all the same stuff. Bang. In. So anyways, guys, good luck on hitting mechanic. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to let me know down in the comments if you are having trouble with this. I'm always happy to answer. But yeah, without any further ado, that'll be about it, guys. See ya.